I just, yesterday, I was talking to my wife about the dress code for today. And it said that you've got to be, the dress code was geek informal. And when I told her that, I said, how can I become geek informal? That's not me. And she said, forget it. You will never be one. Just be yourself. And then they make the thing worse. Yesterday when I was coming on the train, a friend of mine called me. I said, where are you going? I said, going to Edinburgh, and I'm presenting to UKNOF. I said, you are? And do you realize the audience are all full of techies, and you are non-techie? I said, are they? I said, yeah, they are all techie, and they can have to ask tough questions. And especially watch out to someone called Neil McRae. And he's a very, very difficult guy, and he can ask difficult questions. So that's how we are, that the situation is. And just a little before I start, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm an entrepreneur. I started my contact network systems, £50, an international company now. And just over a couple of years ago, I purchased a company called Sorrento Networks, which is an American company, and they are WDM manufacturers and designers. And that was in Silicon Valley. About just over a year ago, to make Donald Trump very annoyed, I transferred that company, all its design and the manufacturing, to the United Kingdom. That now it is a British company, not US company. So now, being an entrepreneur, I'm also a campaigner, a crazy campaigner. And I realized that in UK, we have a serious problem with fiber connectivity. And when you look at countries like Sweden, over 95% of the buildings are connected with full fiber. UK, embarrassingly, now it's about 3% of the buildings are connected with fiber connectivity. Also, my business headquarters in North Wales, I'm familiar with North Wales, and I see the communities in North Wales, how much they are suffering. In fact, some of them have no internet at all, no Wi-Fi system, no wireless system. So that ignited, they give me the impetus that to really be a fight and create something and address this. So now I am going to tell you the story of UK Fibre Connectivity Forum. I'm going to go through all these PowerPoint presentations pretty fast. I don't actually like PowerPoint presentation. I hate it, but I've got no choice to do it. But so I will go through with them pretty quickly. This is our mission, which has been accepted with all the forum members. In March 2017, we started the big event, and that was in the Parliament. And I realized then that there's a real hunger on grassroots level to have a forum, campaigning forum, to deal with the problems we have in the UK. I realized that a lot of our parliamentarians, a lot of our politicians have got no clue about this digital technology. And they are only listening to some big organization, which I'm not going to tell you the names of them. They have got a massive lobbying power, and they are the ones influencing the agenda. Not the smaller organization, not the smaller providers. So I say that let's start something fresh, new. And that is the time the vast majority of the people, they all agreed that we should start the forum. And that whole idea was to give the loud, strong, collective, voice for ordinary providers, small organization, consultants, the ones that are dealing with the nuts and bolts of the industry, which we really need to support them, and they had no voice. So basically, this is a whole, to support the government also. Government, members of the government, even the ministers, have got no, as I said, they had no clue, and they couldn't build a policy. If you remember, some of you, before the elections last year, there was a white paper went to Parliament. Before that, we went to House of Lords. And they were saying that that minimum universal service obligation should be about 10 meg. And the House of Lords, they wanted to bring it to 30 meg. And went back to Parliament, they rejected that. Imagine how unaspirational they were. And that was pure lack of the knowledge they had. And also we are obviously trying to bring in more funding, and we're bringing in the forum a lot of investors there. And the government is, to be fair, they are now walking up and they are supporting, they are allocating a lot of funding towards full fibre. And they're recognizing that alternative providers, small providers, they're hungry, they're energetic, and they want to do something good for the country. They want to go out fast and roll out all the fibre everywhere in our communities and our cities and our towns. And they should be supported. And they started doing that, recognizing that's important. Our first inaugural meeting after the Parliament was on 13th of September in Grant Thornton's building in the City of London. And so that was absolutely packed. And we all get plenty of support from the volunteers, including Grant Thornton, being very kind to us and supporting us. And you see that Ian Lucas MP, he's from DCMS Select Committee, and he's very keen to support us, and he was there as well. And then one of the biggest achievements we have now within a small period of time, we worked closely with the 6 local authorities in North Wales and creating awareness there. They had no clue about fibre. If you had talked to them about dark fibre, and they would have thought something from a film or something like that. I mean, they had absolutely no clue. We thought that we should have a conference on that and educate the healthcare, all the councils and universities, colleges, brought all of them together. We had a conference that day and had workshops. As a result of that, all the 6 councils in North Wales now, they have got a strategy for economic growth, which they call it North Wales Growth Deal, and they're bidding for funding. And digital connectivity, full fibre connectivity, is the top of the agenda as a priority. That is an achievement. That's the change of the mindset. That is what we are doing as a campaigners, and that is working, and that's the tangible result. And then we had organized another parliamentary event this year. We had, and you can see Lord Mendelsohn. Lord Mendelsohn was the really campaigner for digital connectivity as a peer. He was a keynote speaker there. What we knew, we had organizations from Europe came in, and all the devolved nations, they were all there. We had about 500 people registered. That place, Terrace, takes 200. Unfortunately, we broke the health and safety in that night, and we had 250 there. But a lot of the health and safety rules were broken by the parliamentarians and peers when they came in a bit later. So we have again quarterly meeting in London, and all the stakeholders are there coming. We have all major, also we have got grassroots members there. We also have British Telecom. We have got Openreach there. We have Sky and all the other big boys as well there. But that's a very debating, wonderful environment, and the DCMS is there, and the devolved nations are there, and debating how we can actually help each other, get rid of the barriers, get rid of the issues that all these small organizations they have. They get rid of the stupid council tax they have for the fiber throughout the country. That is just prohibiting the growth of this industry. So, in fact, one of the guys here with the beard actually is one of the top people from OpenReach there, and he's a very good supporter of us. But, again, on equal basis. Everything's on equal basis. And again, so I'm going to go through all these. These are the useful. Okay. Now, we've got our next meeting is 1st of October. Again in London at 1:30 in the afternoon in Grant Thornton's place in Finsbury Park. You are more than welcome to apply as long as there is a space available. But this is a very informative, very debating meeting, and I really welcome to have that partnership with this forum. And this is a very big privilege for me to be able to come here as non-techie and address a lot of techies here. Thank you.
Thanks, Askar. Any questions for Askar?
This is more a request than a question. My name's Stephen Dyer. You talked about fibre to the premises, and everybody talks about fibre to the premises to get to all these remote locations. Very few people are talking about the central fibre network, the sort of grid that covers the country. And it's not a grid, it's a mess. It's one person doing a bit there, one person doing a bit there. And I kind of guess somewhere down the line, somebody's going to say, oh, we've got to join them all up. And there'll be different places, different technologies, and that's the weakness of fibre at the moment. There is no central designed infrastructure, and that's what we need, please.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, and we have raised that question with DCMS as well. The providers, because of the commercial reason, they do not want to tell others where their networks are. Imagine if everybody knew where the networks are. It would have been economically very sound. You do not need to dig the ground and put more fiber there if it is already there. And all providers working together, it would have been absolutely fantastic. But the providers, they've got to come together, or there should be a regulation to bring them together.
Hi, yes, Trev here. It must be about a good 10 or more years ago that the government commissioned the CAIO report to look at the costs of rolling out fibre to the cabinet across the country, and it came up with a number of about £29 billion. I'm just wondering, is there any observations about the government's attitude towards a number like that? And they're trying to do, in spending a few quid here and there on funding the occasional fibre project, because that number hasn't really gone away, I would have thought.
Well, first of all, I'll just give you one example and then extend on that. Government is prepared to spend about 80 billion for HS2, which is only one link, if you link speed up. But they are not prepared to spend the same amount of money for the...
it's because the government has centuries of track record of understanding that kind of business model. Yeah. They don't have the understanding of this one.
Yeah. And another thing is, actually, it's not that expensive to do that. We are seeing communities like Barn, North Broadband for North. They are doing it as a community. And at Deeside, they are getting, as a corporate, they are doing it. So it can be done inexpensively as everybody's together. But government has got a role to play. Government has got to make sure to create a fertile environment for all the smaller organizers, everybody work together and for growth. Every pound, according to government's own stat, every pound you spend in digital connectivity, you get £20 back. In HS2, you get £2 back. And that is the reality. And you can roll it out much quicker. And its impact is not only economic, it's health, social care, education, community, prosperity for the deprived communities, that they are absolutely desperate. Yeah. So it is social impact is far, far.
I think we all understand that, actually. What is Neil going to chip in there?
Quickly, if you can, Neil, please.
I wanted to, I really want to challenge people because everyone keeps coming with what the solution is. And it sounds really easy. I will run fibre all over the place. I've probably dug more fibre than everyone else added up in this room. And I know how hard it is. I've dug it under rivers, I've dug it under seas, I've dug it through mountains, and everyone thinks it's really easy. And I welcome those people who go out and build. In fact, I salute them. I think, but the one thing I really learned in this is if you're not able to kind of generate income from it, you find that your ability to build stops very quickly. So I work for Cable and Wireless, a company who put more route kilometres on undersea cables than any other company in the world at one stage, who are effectively nothing now because they weren't able to generate a return on it. So I think, you know, personally speaking, I'm all for building fibre, but it has to be in an environment where the use case that we're using it for makes money and allows us to then continue to invest in it. And I think the second thing is you wait to see the speed from 5G. So I have a test bed up in just near Hatfield. We're getting 2 gig a second out of it. So everyone who wants to run around building fibre, knock yourself out, because that isn't going to be the answer for everything. And now we have a government who's really focused on fibre as the answer, and it's a big part of the answer, but it's not the only answer to this problem. And because we're too focused on the solution and not enough focus on the use case and how we generate income. And that, in my mind, will keep us kind of welded to the pain that we're in right now. And kind of central networks, it's an irrelevance. That is not the problem that we face. That's called competition. And if it wasn't for the competition, we wouldn't have all that fibre around the UK. I've built at least 3 of the networks around the UK, and all of that was driven by competition, not by any other means.
Sounds like you'd go to forum.
Could I just repeat? First of all, fibre rollout, what we are asking is got to be 5G ready. We realise that 5G is extremely important, and we realise that the convergence are very, very key, and that is so that can address certain rural areas better than they just fibre direct to the premises in certain areas.
Okay, thank you for that. Thanks, Askar.